So, phew. Right.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Well, let me start by saying this event, this Business and Dreams event that I went to on Friday, I knew it was going to be more mindset focused because like quite a lot of I'm just going to try and move you to the top of the screen actually, so I'm looking actually at the camera. Um, a lot of training and stuff that we
Oh
have
no,
in.
I'm losing you.
Oh
Is it me
no,
or you?
don't know. Can you hear me?
That's better. Yeah,
Yeah.
you went all robotic and static. So
Okay. Wave at me or something if it happens again, because I've got my back door
That's right.
closed.
It tried it with Andy coming on, so I wonder whether the connection went a bit dodgy as Andy came on, if you know what I mean, because sometimes it
Oh,
can't deal with, can it?
oh, okay, okay. I can't see who's on. I can just literally see one person just at the top of my screen at the moment. So, yeah, thank you. Let me know if it happens again, though. But yeah, we knew like lots of our training can be like quite practical about like what we've got to do. Like the actual, we need to connect with people, converse with people, invite, follow up, that actual like taking action stuff. But this was really, really heavily mindset focused. And I think that a lot of it is what we've already been told in the past. You'll probably like get that as we go through, but it's being told it in a different way. And actually, I think that sometimes we just need to be told something over and over again for it to really like go in. And I don't know what it was about these two ladies, but they had so much like conviction and like passion, and they were just like so much belief in what they did. It just, I don't know, something like really clicked inside me that day, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just the fact that it was such a good opportunity that I'd had like handed to me, because let's face it, not everyone gets that, do they? And I just thought I need to use this opportunity that I've been given and prove that, I'm worth the money they've spent on me or something. But yeah, something did just click, and I was just like, I came out at the end of it feeling a whole new sense of clarity and purpose and just drive and determination and stuff. And I feel like that's really what I needed. So how do I click through? Hang on a minute. That one? No, that one. There we go. Started. I mean, I will just go through sort of like these are kind of like light bulb moments and like bits that I kind of picked out, which really kind of resonated with me because I can't remember everything that they presented, and I haven't. Well, I tried to write as much down as possible. Um, so first of all, your results have nothing to do with your potential, I think was quite key. Because like where you're currently at in the business, the results that you are currently getting might not be where you want to be. Like I know for me personally, the results that I'm getting this campaign are pretty crap to where I've been in previous campaigns. And what they meant by this is sometimes we can just feel a little bit like a bit deflated, a bit miffed, and we can go, like, I know my results just aren't happening at the moment, but what's happening now does not change the potential that you have. I think sometimes we can get very results driven and focused on what is happening now. And although we do need to be aware of like now, we also can go, but is this it? Like, I can't get past that. I can't get to that next level. I've got these same results. I've plateaued for such a long time. Where else can I go from here? And you can. So your current results don't affect the potential that you still have in the business. Um, and then they came up with this little model about thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. And when you kind of look at this model, like most people will immediately gravitate to sort of results and actions because you know that unless you're taking action, you're not going to get any results. And that's the area that people will sort of like look at first. I want to get results, so I've got to take action. But unless you are taking action for the right reasons, unless you've got the feelings and the thoughts behind it, you're not going to take the right level of action or even any action. And we'll come on to that more in just a minute. Um, Action comes from your emotional state. And later on, they did a really, really powerful visualization. We've had this done in the past before. I'm sure all of us have done it, where you close your eyes, you listen to someone telling you to imagine, like really, really visualize and picture you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve, that dream holiday, all your goals, visualizing your perfect life or your perfect day, and just life is just as amazing as it gets. And I tell you what, like I'm not normally a very emotional person, but with my eyes shut, doing this visualization, and I know it's just really weird to explain, like, because I normally find visualization really hard. I feel a bit like, oh, it's a bit like, I don't know what the way to explain it is. I just don't believe it. I go, okay, it's fine. I can sit and think about it, but how's that going to make it happen? But actually, when you really, really connect with those feelings and really let it in, almost like not just into your mind, but letting it kind of like sink into your chest, so many of us were in tears at the end, and whether it was this woman and how she did this guided visualization and what she was saying and that, but it was really, really emotional actually. And I think we need to do that more often, about remembering really what it is we want from this, because unless we're focusing on those things, we're not going to have that drive that we need to keep moving forward. So yeah, really focusing on like those thoughts and feelings that then make you want to take action and get those results. Um, and let me just see if I can move on. So, yeah, just elaborating a little bit more on that. Results come from taking action, but you're not going to take action if you've not got the right emotional state, and you're not going to have the right emotional state because most of our thoughts are in our subconscious. And they showed the iceberg analogy. Have you all seen the iceberg analogy where you've got like the water and you've got 5% of the iceberg sitting above the water and 95% like this massive like underwater glacier or iceberg? 95% of our thoughts are like locked into our subconscious because we've just gone through life. The way they explained it is we've gone through life on autopilot, and we've just been programmed in a certain way from our parents and our upbringing and just society in general to fit in and think a certain way in that. And it's more difficult than you think to tap into that 95% into that subconscious to then make you take the action that's needed. And we'll go through this a little bit more in just a sec. So the key with all this, as they said, is not taking on more information and more learning. That's not going to help. Obviously, we're all learners here. We're like sponges. We do like to do training, and yes, there is a certain amount of making sure you're keeping up to date with knowledge and stuff, and to make us better at what we do. But I don't know if can you see that? I can't see my screen. Can you see that square? So you've got a massive square here with the word learning written in the middle, and then you've got a little red square down the bottom here which says action. Most people will sit here in this massive white square. They'll do all the learning, they take in all the knowledge, which is amazing, but they don't take much action. And so the point here is that no amount of learning is going to help you. What we're trying to say, no amount of learning is going to actually help you take the right action that you need without that sort of thoughts and feelings process to begin with. But also, so they said the key is not more information, it's not more learning, and it's also not working harder, because I think that sometimes we can think, oh, it's okay for, whoever, that person in the business that's a Sapphire director, well, they've got 5 hours a day that they can put into the business, but actually they probably haven't. And an analogy that she used here was someone that earns 100 times more than you do, someone that's on, is unrealistic, isn't it? But someone earns 100 times more salary than you do. Do you think that they are working 100 more hours? Not a week, because that's not possible. I know it is a week, but do you know what I mean? They are not working harder. Someone that's earning 100 times more is not putting in 100 times more hours. They're just being better with their time. So she said the key is to change 95% of our untouched subconscious, so our thoughts that are holding us back, basically. And this is where it comes into things like limiting beliefs and that. And we will go through that as well. I know we've done this before, but it was quite a key part of the day, and I just found it really, really helpful. So let me just go through my notes. So they came up with this 4-step success formula. And as I say, the formula is all more about mindset rather than the actual strategic side of things. And those 4 steps were direction, release, relearn, and create. So let's go through them. Oh, skipped ahead. Go through them individually. So an example they used here, direction is all about your goal setting, okay? And we need to have goals, and I think that I might write my goals at the start of the year, and then I don't look at them for weeks or months, sometimes even. I'll hold my hand up and admit that I don't look at my goals very often, and we really should. Like we need to look at our goals like every day. You remember Vicky Palmer and from Bod, and she was so goal focused, wasn't she? She would have her little routine of writing her goals every day. And actually it takes me back to like when I think about some of the very successful Beachbody coaches that we used to like, watch and that, they were very, very like methodical in their stories. They'd always be doing their journaling or their gratitude or their affirmations or writing their goals at the start of their day. And it obviously works. So one of the ladies said, just as an example here, the founder, I can't remember the girl's name, but the founder of Canva, obviously her goal or dream or vision or whatever was to produce this platform that made, content creation and templates and that all easier as we went into like the social media world. So she had this massive idea, could see it being really big and successful, but she presented her business proposal to look for like funding or something to 100 different people, or just over 100 people, before she had someone say, yes, we'll make an investment in that. And if she'd given up on that goal after the first rejection or the 10th or the 50th rejection, she wouldn't be worth, what was it, something like 65 million pounds or something now. And yeah, so it's just the fact that focusing on our goals, and again, we'll come on to this in a little bit as well, but not getting despondent when you might not hit the goal that you've got in mind. Most goals are set in the wrong way. Now, this actually really hit home with me as well. And Claire turned around to me and she was like, "This is one for you, Karen, because you sit within a safety net." She was like, "You could achieve so much more, but you sit where you're safe." And I was like, yeah, I think I do actually. So what they say by most goals are set in the wrong way, they actually mean that people make their goals too realistic. Like they do. My first big goal in this business was to get to director, and I did. And now it's almost like I've got complacent because I've gone, okay, well, I've got to director. I know that I need to set the next goal to get to gold or sapphire or whatever else, but you need to make the goal a lot bigger. Otherwise, you just get comfortable. You just get comfortable and complacent. Like if you're happy just hitting platinum every single campaign, you've got nothing. There's no drive, nothing left to sort of go for, if that makes sense. So you've got to make the really, really big, unrealistic goals. And this is something I've always struggled with. And I like how they sort of talked my mind around to this, because I don't know about you ladies, but when I think about that massive goal, like when I think about I want to earn £5,000 a campaign, and I want to get to Diamond Director, and I want to be able to go on a really extravagant long haul family holiday that every year, because that seems so far off, because that seems like that's such an unachievable goal, I never write it down. I never focus on it, because I'm always thinking like, but it's too far off. Like, what's the point in thinking about it when it's too far away? I'd rather focus on the little goals. but you've got to have the big goals and celebrate all the little wins on your way to the big goals. Also setting an income goal. She said that's really important. Like when you are in the business and you're trying to earn an income, you've got to set an income goal, whether that's a month or whether it's like, I don't know, I want to earn X amount over the course of a year or something. But setting an income goal is really important. And then they went on about your donkey, horse, and unicorn goals, which I wasn't familiar with at first. So basically, donkey goals are what you know you can do. So like I now a donkey goal for me would be I want to hit director again as a donkey goal. It's something that's realistic. I know it's going to happen at some point, and a donkey goal is not actually a goal, it's just a plan. That's the difference. So setting donkey goals aren't often helpful for us. They're the ones that we're setting that are realistic, which just keep us in our comfort zone and our safety net. The horse goals are what you think you can do. So for me, and you guys might obviously write something different down, but my horse goal, what I think I can do is get to Sapphire Director. I think I can get there. Quite realistic achievement. My unicorn goal is what you want. So your donkey and horse, what you need or what you think you can do, but your unicorn goal is really what you want. And this is something else. I think um, we go through life sort of like accept what we need, don't we? We only like spend money on what we need and stuff rather than what we want. But some of these big goals really need to be about what we want, not just what we need. Um, and so, yeah, so your unicorn goals, that's where growth really happens. They're the goals that need to excite you and scare you a bit as well. Now, I've written assignment there and I'm not too sure why. Oh, yes, I do know why. So I've put a little assignment thing here because what they got us to do was just write a short paragraph on like our unicorn goals or like our perfect kind of like day or what we'd love to have achieved in the future, but writing it like as if we've already achieved it. And I know that this is something, again, it comes really hard to me because I think it's really silly. I feel silly doing that, like I have achieved this or I have hit that, because in my head I'm going, but I haven't. But actually, when you are writing it, like you've already done it and it's already happened and you've already had all that success, it's that is changing those subconscious thoughts, those 95% subconscious thoughts. There are what's starting to like creep out, and it just gets more and more embedded and ingrained, and your brain starts to believe it. And this is where you're changing like your programming and stuff. You're moving away from autopilot. You're getting away from those 95% subconscious thoughts and like broadening the mental horizon or whatever it is, I guess. So I'll read you mine. I don't mind sharing. It's not particularly interesting. We literally had like 5 minutes to do it, and then I'll give you like 5 minutes just to write yours down. So mine says, and this was after having like a visualization session. I have been able to pay for all of Eleanor's dental treatment, which cost us around £30,000. We've taken the girls to Disneyland, Florida, and we've also got our family holiday to South Africa booked. It's the place that I wanted to return to from our honeymoon. I've given up my customer service job because Oriflame has become my full-time income, and I've moved to a bigger house with 4 bedrooms, a downstairs bathroom, and I've been able to pay off and own both our cars. So that was mine. Obviously, there's probably still more things that I want to achieve in life, but from a goal setting perspective, that's my unicorn. Like, because that's stuff that like, that scares me a little bit to think that, oh my God, I could potentially be in a position at some point in this business where I'm earning that much that is all possible. So let's just take 5 minutes. You don't have to share or anything, but I think that you should write down some in the I've already achieved tense, some of your real big goals. So give you a few minutes. See, everyone's still scribbling. Do you need a few more minutes or are you all right? Done. You can always come back to it and, expand on it or elaborate or whatever at a later point as well. If anyone wants to share theirs, please do, but you don't have to. You can keep it completely private as well. Just, wave at me if you want to share.
I can share. I can
Okay.
share. So, I've built up my business enough that Andy doesn't have to work anymore. He doesn't have his stressful job, so he can be home, and we can spend more time together as a family. Um, we've got a house in the country with enough room, so Holly now has a horse, that has its own stable and a paddock. Did you hear her go, yay? um, or we've saved up enough money so that there's a deposit for all the kids, so they've got that to help them get on the property ladder. And we have a holiday home in Sorrento in Italy that I can work my Oriflame business from.
Lovely. That literally sounds like the dream. And writing that down regularly and really thinking about it and visualizing it and, really taking it in and letting it sit with you, it's that emotional connection that's going to make you go, if I was going to, I was going to slack off my business today, but when that is at the forefront of your mind, it's going to make you want to do it. It's those thoughts and feelings that's going to drive you forward. So just a couple more things that they went through on goals and stuff. Touched on this just a little bit earlier. The fact that most people are afraid to set those big unicorn goals, mainly because they're afraid that they're going to feel miserable all the time during the process of getting there. And I kind of I'm sure most of us can relate to that. You know, you can kind of think, I've got this massive goal, but you can sometimes feel a little bit, a bit miserable on the journey there because that goal does seem so far away. Um, also, some people are afraid of setting goals for fear of not reaching them, and feeling like they failed. So a prime example of this would be having opened up qualification for Abu Dhabi. If I don't hit director 3 more times and I don't actually qualify for the trip, I could go into a state of, well, I had that goal, I failed. So what's the point in trying again? But actually, we need to retrain our brain into thinking that failure is not really failure. Not hitting that goal is just a learning experience. And it's just, we've got to think about the wins that we've had on the way to get to that goal, because there would undoubtedly be things that have happened on the way. Yeah. Oh, and that just, yeah, sorry, that brings me into the next point. We need to celebrate all the small wins on the journey there. So if you don't hit those big goals that are on your board, don't see that as a bad thing. See it as there's probably still a bit of room for improvement, and that you would have got your business much further along than if you hadn't been going for that big goal. And yes. So moving on to the release part. So direction, all about goal setting. Release was all about releasing like negativity and limiting beliefs and stuff like that. So they said a big fact in life is that actually we are all in a relationship with money. And there's several different relationships most of us have with money. Toxic relationships, which are really on and off. You know, sometimes you've got money coming in, but as quick as it goes in, it goes out on the bills again, or something crops up. So you really have that toxic relationship with money where yes, you got it, but it just goes again just as quick. A steady relationship with money is where money is stable, but it's nothing exciting. That's probably got quite a lot of us in life, you know, where you've got your regular income coming in just to pay the bills and do the bare minimum, but you can't really afford to do anything else. And then you've got the thriving relationship with money, which is where it's always growing. It's that residual income, it's that abundance of money. And that's the place where most of us want to be. Much of our programming around money mindset and stuff comes from the years of like ages 1 to 7, actually, when we're growing up and stuff. Like I remember growing up with my family, and my mum and dad were quite strapped for money, and I would hear phrases like, oh, we're having to rob Peter to pay Paul, or we're in the red again, how are we going to afford this? We're overdrawn again. And that, unfortunately, that programs most of us into our relationship that we have with money when we get older as well. A lot of people blame the money. And what I mean by that is, what do they say? So people blame the money, but money is just a thing. It's just an object. Like money, having money or not is not the cause of your like unhappiness or whatever, but because money is just like an object, you know what I mean? It's normally it's what you do with it and the person behind the money that's often causes the problem. And then anyway, oh, New Year's Eve. She this was quite a moment where I was like, oh, okay. She said, why do so many people fail at their New Year's Eve resolutions? I'm not too sure why I've put this here in this release bit, actually. This might be in the wrong part. I'm really sorry. I did this at like 8 o'clock this morning. So why do people fail at New Year's Eve when they set their New Year's Eve resolutions? And the answer to this because a lot of people are going, oh, because they haven't built in, like the habits are too hard, or it's just people set the wrong goals, or they try and do too much too early on. But actually, the answer is that most people are only focusing on the action. So somebody that sets a New Year's Eve resolution to go to the gym 3 times a week, who's never done it before, may well give up after just a couple of weeks, because all they're focusing on is the action of going to the gym and I want the result of losing weight, but they're not focusing on the thoughts and feelings behind it. So when you just take action on its own without the thoughts and feelings, that takes an immense amount of willpower. And I thought that this was I would never have thought of this like this myself before, but she was like, when you are trying to do something, when you like are working on your business daily, and it's only willpower that's making you do it, almost like oh, I've got to do this again today. That's not enough. It's willpower is so easily broken, and this is why the whole thoughts and feelings thing is so important. Let's just move on. Oh, actually. So, actually, no, sorry, I'll go back a screen. This release section. So people get stuck. They can't move towards their goals and stuff because they have all their limiting beliefs and that. And I know that in the past and that we've done work and stuff around limiting beliefs, but it doesn't harm to do it again. And I quite liked the way they sort of did it as well. So I wrote down 3 limiting beliefs. I think I can't attract the right people into my business. And that is nothing against you guys. FYI, this is like other people coming in. I can't attract the right people into my business. I feel I will sacrifice too much family time to achieve my big goals. And I worry that I'll change as a person and lose sight of who I am now. So they were my like just 3 limiting beliefs that I put down. And then we changed them into positive affirmations in a bit. I'd encourage you maybe just to like at some point, we won't do it maybe now because it's 25 to 9, so we've got a little bit more left to do. Well, yeah, not that much actually. But write your limiting beliefs, because then what I want you to do is turn them into like positive affirmations in a bit. And in a second. Yeah. Okay. And then she went through the relearn section. So relearning is basically turning those limiting beliefs and negative feelings and stuff like that into positive affirmations. It's like it's relearning. How can I move that negative mindset into a positive mindset? And just as an example, what I did here, I turned my I can't attract the right people into my business into an affirmation of I put out the same energy that I'm attracting to bring big business builders into my team. And these are affirmations that like you need to write down every day and say to yourself every day. The next one where I said about I feel that I'll sacrifice too much family time to achieve my goals, I turned that into an affirmation of I invest time in my business because my family are worthy of more from life. And then the third one, I worry I change as a person. I said that the positive affirmation is I'm successful, I'm grounded, I'm humble, and I'm always grateful. So I don't know how much that helps, but I just thought that it was, just a little bit of brain training. And then this model that they came up with in this like relearn section as well, I thought was quite interesting. There's a book, I've never read it. It's called The Gap and the Gain. I can't remember who by, but a lot of people in the room were like, oh yeah, we've heard of that, The Gap and the Gain. And the principle around this is you'll see the diagrams here, the one on the left, the gap, the one on the right, the gain. We all have an ideal or a goal that is out of reach. That's that big unicorn goal. When we measure ourselves and action against that ideal, we're in the gap. Does that make sense? So when we're in the gap, when we are measuring the action that we're taking just against that massive, massive goal, we get feelings of like frustration, disappointment, low self-esteem, limiting beliefs. However, when we start to measure ourselves against our previous selves, we're in the gain, and that's on the right side there. Focusing on the wins, the little wins, achievements, goals that you've made along the way. So it's thinking about like how far you've come really and everything that's happened to get there, all those little wins, rather than measuring yourself against something that seems unachievable. And obviously then when you're in that gain mindset, you get more feelings of pride, success, positivity, and confidence, etc. And then the last little bit was like create, and this is basically like that she just said, like it's the create section is creating the best version of you. It's making a decision like right now to change, like to start doing what is needed to unlock all this like 95% subconscious thoughts and stuff which we can't access. And by doing that work on our visualization and our limiting beliefs and turning that into affirmations, that's going to make us a better person to be able to move towards those big goals. So she said, like, make sure you set the big unicorn goal. That massive goal should excite you and scare you. And if it doesn't, then it's too much of a realistic goal, because it's that fear and excitement that's going to keep us moving in the right direction. Also, she did focus on enjoying the process as well. And that's something that I keep needing to be told. She said, I haven't got a diagram. She put a diagram together of like, when you are just focused on the result and you're very, very like, yeah, when you're just very goal and results focused, you can end up not enjoying the process to get there, because you're constantly like, I want to get that goal, and it's almost like impatient to get there. Whereas if you can start to like retrain yourself and retrain your brain to actually enjoy the process, and I know that with what we do, it can sometimes be a bit like, oh, all the conversations and all the engagement and stuff like that, but we've really got to try to enjoy doing that. And even if that is, the whole just showing up and being social on social media, as we've said in the past, but actually enjoying our business hours or our pockets of time or whatever, and knowing that that work that we do is getting us towards our goal, that's a real mindset thing for me, actually, because I can sometimes go, oh, I've got to do my business hour again. But actually, if I don't do it, I'm not going to get to my goal. And it's about enjoying that time that it takes to get there as well. Doing the deep visualization work every day is something that they recommend doing. I have done that the last couple of mornings, and I must admit, my mindset has been pretty good, actually. And then I have just put a little assignment thing at the bottom there to rewrite our limiting beliefs. I know I didn't get you to write your limiting beliefs down, but afterwards, if you want to write like your main limiting beliefs on what it is that's holding you back, and then just rewrite the polar opposite in a really, really positive way, then that can be really helpful as well. And then I think just yeah, and then I think it was just a case of, they said like, what is our massive unicorn goal? My unicorn goal I put is that I want to have my first £3,000. I want to have my first £3,000 campaign, like earnings in one campaign. So yeah, that was my big goal. And then actions just to take next were write out your goals daily, and I've started doing that. Write or say your positive affirmations daily to combat any limiting beliefs, and listen to visualization meditations. You can actually have someone like on YouTube or whatever talk you through, what does the best version of you look like, and all that jazz. And then remember to enjoy the process and not just focus on the goal. So I just, for the last couple of days, as I say, have started doing this, and I'll just stop sharing the screen now. I've been listening to that book by what's his name, Hal Elrod in The Miracle Morning. We've all done The Miracle Morning, and I get up a little bit earlier now, and I come downstairs and I do my savers, as he calls it. And so I'll sit and I'll do a 5 or 10 minute meditation. Then I've got my little affirmation cards, and I'm also just going back to my notebook and reading those affirmations out to myself. And then the visualization bit, I actually put just a YouTube visualization thing on this morning, and I just focused on like where I want to be, like as in I've already got it all. Um, didn't do E for exercise because I don't get time on a Monday. I did do some reading. I read a little bit of my book, and then S is like scribing, so or like journaling. And I did for the last couple of days write down. And this is something that I said earlier. It feels really, really uncomfortable for me. The whole writing it down when you've not actually got it yet, but knowing that writing it down, I wrote here. I've hit director 4 times and I've qualified for Abu Dhabi. It's time to start planning what to take. This is a once in a lifetime trip and I'm bursting with pride and excitement. The high energy business builders are joining my team and are also leveling up their businesses, which in turn means I did achieve gold director before the end of 2025. I feel so plugged in and happy to be in a place where I'm enjoying the process of working on my business every day. And I'm well on my way to earning that big £3,000 goal. It's happening. So I just like that. Yeah, I'm going to carry on doing it every day because that I know how to explain it. Unmute yourselves and talk to me like because I can't get my words out. I've done 12 and a half hours at work today and it's been so busy and this has just done me now. Um, yeah, but just putting all that positivity in my mind has been really, really helpful. And yeah, I'd encourage you to do it as well. Oh no, I've frozen. Was everyone else frozen? Have I frozen? Oh no.